Okay, so there's a major new directive that's really sending some shockwaves through professional education in India. The National Commission for Homeopathy is cracking down, and it's all about raising the bar for quality and, you guessed it, accountability in its colleges.
But first, let me ask you something. When you go to a professional, a doctor, anyone really, how do you actually know their degree is legit? That their training was the real deal and that piece of paper on the wall really means something? It all boils down to trust in the system, right?
And that exact question of credibility is what this is all about. We're diving into homeopathy and what happens when that public trust in its educational standards starts to, well, fray at the edges, because that's when regulators have no choice but to step in. So, what were the regulators seeing that got them so concerned? Well, the Medical Assessment and Rating Board for Homeopathy, or MARBH, was noticing some pretty serious problems in certain colleges. We're talking slipping academic standards, students not getting proper clinical exposure, and some major questions about whether the faculty were even authentic. All of this, of course, has a huge impact on the students' futures. So, this brings us to the official response. Faced with all these issues, the National Commission for Homeopathy, that's the NCH, decided it was time to take some pretty decisive action. Now, the core of the issue really revolves around these, the Minimum Essential Standards Regulations. You can think of this as the official rulebook. It lays out all the non-negotiable requirements for, well, everything. From faculty qualifications to hospital facilities, it's the absolute baseline for quality. And the NCH could not have been more clear about this. I mean, this quote from their official notice says it all. Mandatory and non-negotiable. There's no wiggle room here. They are drawing a very, very firm line in the sand. So how do you enforce a rule that's non-negotiable? Well, you attach some very serious consequences to breaking it. So let's get into the anatomy of these fines and break down the specific violations and the hefty price tags that now come with them. First up, we've got one of the oldest tricks in the book. Submitting forged documents. Trying to prove you meet the standards on paper when, in reality, you don't.
And the penalty for that? A flat 5 lakh rupees. It sends a pretty clear message, doesn't it? Falsifying your records is not going to be tolerated.
Next, the rules are taking aim at the quality of the educators themselves. This violation is all about institutions that provide fake or, inflated teaching experience certificates, just to make their faculty look way more qualified than they actually are. The penalty here is also 5 lakh rupees. But, and this is a crucial detail, it's per teacher. So you could imagine, for a college that's faking credentials for a bunch of its staff, this fine could get huge really, really fast. Okay, now we get to what the official circular is calling one of the most serious violations, listing ghost teachers. This is when a college literally pretends to have faculty on staff who either don't exist or just don't work there, all to meet the requirements on paper. And the penalty for this one? It's a two-pronged attack. The institution gets slammed with a massive 10 lakh rupee fine for every single ghost teacher on their list. But, and this is key, the NCH is also going after any individual who let their name be used in the first place, fining them 5 lakh rupees too. There's just no place to hide. All right, next up is a violation that directly impacts the students, admitting people who haven't passed the mandatory national entrance exams, like NEET or AIAPGET. I mean, these exams are the gateway, right? They're designed to make sure students have a basic aptitude for the field. And the penalty for this is, honestly, it's staggering. 10 lakh rupees for every single student admitted without the right qualifications. This is clearly designed to make it financially impossible for colleges to even think about bending the rules on admissions. So when you see it all laid out like this, the message is just undeniable. With penalties hitting 10 lakh rupees per student or per ghost teacher, the NCHA has basically created a financial minefield for any institution that's even considering cutting corners. But these fines, as huge as they are really just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. So what does this new policy actually signal for the future of the whole profession? Well, it signals a fundamental shift. It means inspections are going to be way more rigorous. It's a direct assault on what you might call paper compliance. Looking great on paper, but failing in reality. And ultimately, it's all about protecting the integrity of the degree by insisting on real teachers, real facilities, and real standards.
So, as we wrap this up, what's the single most important thing to take away from this whole crackdown? It's this. This entire effort isn't just about punishment. It's about protection. It's about making sure that when a student graduates, their degree has real, tangible value. It's about rebuilding public trust so that when you see that qualification, you know for sure that it stands for something genuine. Which leaves us with one final question to think about. The penalties are incredibly severe, and the intent is crystal clear. But will putting a price tag on non-compliance really be enough to guarantee quality across the board in professional education? Something to chew on.